Nova Legends podcast. I have Centreville coach Josephine McLane, whose Wildcats just recently won the Northern Region title on their way to the state semifinals after beating Gainesville last night with a great game. Coach Joe, great to meet you. Great to meet you. Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, of course. So look, you're new to the to at least my podcast. A lot of the coaches I've had on so many times over the years, because it seems the same teams are in contention every year. But just give a quick introduction of you. You're a business operations manager at Software AG. You've been coach at Centreville for 4 years. Every year they've gotten better, from 4-10, 10-9, 10-9, 17-7, coach of the year for you, and to this year regional titleist, 23-3. You're an assistant at American International College, where you also played. You were assistant at Missouri Valley College. I didn't mention that you were captain on your team in college, and you won the Hustle Award. So, Coach, did I get most of that right?
Yeah.
Not too bad.
That's about right.
Yeah. So, well, look. First of all, I don't know that much about your team. You got beautiful social media, beautiful Instagram account. But one thing I noticed right away about you guys is you only had 3 seniors on senior night, which seems to say that you're pretty young. So, why don't you tell us a little bit about your team?
Yeah, my team, they're probably the best group of girls, and it's probably cliche and everyone says it, but the best group of girls I've ever coached on any level. Yeah, we have 3 seniors. So Hannah Wakefield, who's been with me since day one of me joining Centreville in 2020 of COVID year, which was fantastic. So she's been on with me since the beginning. Morgan Carpenter is a 3-year varsity player. And she's a senior, number 23, also a starter. And then number 3, Janiyah Marion, who's been with us for about 2.5 years. She transferred from private back to her home school. Her older sister played for me for 2 years, my first 2 years. So her coming back was a big add for us. And then we have, our lone junior is Kennedy Parrott, and she holds down that class pretty well by herself. And then, yeah, we have 5 sophomores who are our super sophomores, and 3 of them are, they play a lot of minutes for us, and they all contribute. And we wouldn't be here without that group of those 3. And then, Amaya, number 14, actually started last night in place of Morgan. Morgan was out, and she played fantastic. So I'm really excited for her future with us and the continuation of, her. And then we have another sophomore, Danny, who doesn't get a lot of burn, but excited for her next 2 years. I think she's going to contribute when our seniors leave. And we have 3 freshmen who, are great additions to our program, and they're great kids. Like our whole program, every kid is great. In their own way. I tell them all the time, like, none of us are perfect, but we're pretty perfect together. They get along really, really well off the court. I know a lot of coaches say that too. But it's just different.
Yeah. Well, I read about Kennedy Parrott in my friend Spencer Nussbaum's article today.
Oh, yeah.
And she's going to be very lonely next year on senior day. She's going to be ready to sing a song, give a speech, because it's going to be all about her next year, unless some other seniors try out for the team next year. So yeah. So Coach, what did you hear about Centreville when you first became head coach? What was the reputation at Centreville? I don't recognize Centreville as being a power. I know the boys team won the state around about the same time you started. But what have you heard about Centreville when you took the job?
I was an assistant at Westfield. That's where I graduated from, actually. So when I came back from out of coaching in college, I came back and I was able to coach at Westfield for a couple of years, just to get my feet wet, back in high school basketball. And every time we played Centreville, it was like, all right, well, we're gonna win, And I told the kids, like, when I came over, like, that's how people think of you guys. Like it's an easy game. Like mark it on the calendar, dub, you know? And so we've obviously become the hunted. Yeah, it's an incredible feeling to, you know, change a program. But these kids have so much to do with it, and the leadership that we have from their perspective, and just them buying into, like, we can do this, you know, we believe. And the growth, you know, from day one has been incredible.
Is it hard to get kids? I mean, that's easier said than done, changing a culture. What you've done is incredible. Yes, you had great kids, but are there things that you did to work on that perception and that culture to build a winning culture so quickly? Because
Yeah, I
the
mean,
problem is kids will transfer to other schools quickly if they feel like they're not going to get the right exposure at a school.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think we get really, like, we got lucky, obviously. Like, our kids are very talented. As good as they are as human beings, they're, you know, very talented on the basketball court. So we got lucky with our boundary, but also those kids could have chosen to go private and they didn't. And I think that speaks to, you know, what we, you know, we struggled in our first 2 years. You know, first year we won, you know, handful of games, not even. And second year we were like 500. So, you know, it's just continuing to believe and create an atmosphere where they want to be. Like, you know, it's not hard to do some extra stuff from my end. So I try to give as much as I can to these kids, and give them, you know, an opportunity. And, you know, the social media stuff, like, you know, they love it and it's easy to do. Like, it's not hard. So just giving them a different experience than, you know, what may happen at other places, or just create something that they want to be a part of. I think that's the biggest thing, is just like drawing those kids to stay home,
Yeah.
instead of, you know, transferring or going to another school for, you know, whatever class they want to take that we don't have, or whatever the case may be. It's crazy these days, but yeah.
Yeah, whoever does your social media, who manages that, does an incredible job. One of the nicest sites I've seen this year. So, Coach, who did you play for at Westfield?
I played for Pat Degan.
Oh, okay, you played for one of the best.
Yeah.
So, how has Coach Degan influenced your coaching?
Oh, you know, it's funny because I'm a Westfield kid, graduated, played for Pat. Lauren Jones, my lead assistant, graduated from Westfield, played for Pat. And Shelby Romine went to Westfield, played for Pat. So I'll be saying stuff and Lauren looks at me and she goes, you know, that's what Degan used to say, right? So yeah, he definitely, you know, his sayings and, you know, all that stuff that we were like, all right, whatever, coach, you know, back in the day when we were 15, 16. Now it definitely, you know, it matters. Like, the little stuff matters, and all the little things, you know, come back. And he, you know, he would always say, like, you know, have fun, play together, all that stuff. And I say that to my kids now.
Yeah. Well, who else heavily influenced your coaching? I watched some of your games on tape to prepare for this. Didn't have a lot of time, but you guys really moved the ball quickly, and you pass a move. It's almost like a three-man weave in the half court set sometimes, the way your players are interchanging. Who are your greatest influences in your coaching, maybe other than Coach Degan?
You know, I watch a decent amount of basketball. So a lot of stuff from Europe, actually. We, you know, obviously we're very heavy set in guards, so we have to be able to be dynamic, and all of our kids, you know, can really dribble and do all of multiple things. And last night, I mean, you go back and you watch a film, and a lot of our shots were not layups, they were pull-ups. And that's a hard shot to make. And a lot of teams will just give that up because they know a lot of kids aren't going to make it. But you know, they excel in that area. You know, I watch, you know, Dawn Staley, the way she conducts herself. There's other people, like, you know, local coaches around here that we've gone to coaches clinics with. I just try to, like, be a sponge. I don't know everything. I'm still learning, you know, like, I always tell my kids, like, you know, I'm going to make mistakes just like you're going to make a mistake. You know, no one's going to be perfect, but what happens after, you know? So I think it's just constantly trying to learn from everybody, because I think you can learn from everybody. Maybe it's what you don't want to do or what
Yeah.
you do want to do. and then like, the coaches around here, everyone's been so welcoming to me since, I joined Centerville. Like Kirsten at Madison has been, she's been great, even though we're in the same district. Like she's super helpful. Even like Diane Lewis, we played Edison this year, and she was, she couldn't say enough nice things about me, and I almost started to cry because I was like, Diane Lewis about us, so just hearing that from everybody. And even Degan text me and Lauren the other day, or yesterday before our game, and just saying how proud he was. And all that stuff is it means a lot to us and to our girls to get that recognition, and just to know that people care.
Yeah. Coach, getting your team, leading your team to the state semifinals is something these girls will never forget. And it's a very special thing. Now you got off to a tremendous start this year. I believe you won your first 8 or 9 games. What were your expectations for this team coming into the season?
Yeah, our expectations from day one was to play the best basketball Centerville's ever played. I knew we had the kids. I knew we had the talent. It was just a matter of, putting it together and staying consistent. And I think we did that. We played, Potomac School, which is one of the best teams in Virginia. They're really good. And that was a good test for us. We kind of needed that, whatever you want to call it. Probably can't say that online, but our girls after were like, they were huge, and their front line is 6'1", 6'2", 6'1", and our tallest kid is probably 5'11". So we were just outmatched, and that's fine. So we learned from all of that. But yeah, I think the main goal, our slogan this year was unfinished business. We lost to Madison in the regional semifinals last year, and they had this hunger. They had it from that moment on. We had shirts, we have hashtags, we have all that stuff, and we always talk about it. And and there's an underlying saying within the unfinished business that we kind of came up with as a team. So there's a depth to it too. But yeah, that's kind of been the goal, is to be the best, and Centerville's never been here. So yeah. I think we kind of hit the mark.
Yeah. So, well, Coach, everything went pretty well. I think you only lost 2 games in the regular season, Coach, and then you lost to Chantilly, and that was in the semifinals of districts. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Correct. So okay. First of all, the district was very well balanced and tough this year. When you look at the results, everyone was beating everybody. You guys beat Oakton twice. Madison took their lumps in the district, which after winning 4 state titles in a row is a surprise. It was a very rough and tumble district this year. What did that? First of all, what are your thoughts about the district? And second of all, what did that Chantilly loss do for you? Was there any blessings in disguise in losing that game early? Does that do anything make you guys more determined in the regional tournament?
Yeah. Well, first, the Concord district, I think, is one of the best districts in the whole state. Night in, night out, it's like the Big East, or the Big East past,
not elbows, right?
maybe not anymore, but in the past, yeah. Every night the bottom seed could beat the top seed, and you have to prepare. It's hard to win, games, especially that second time through the district. So our girls, to go undefeated in regular season were obviously excited, and yeah, I can't say enough. I mean, all of our coaches in that district do a phenomenal job of just preparing their kids to play that schedule. But yeah, I think the Chantilly game, Chantilly and Josh have some, I don't know what it is, but I feel like there's a ghost on the rim, like knocking our balls out, because we couldn't make anything in that fourth quarter. I mean, I think we were up double digits going into the fourth, and we kind of gave it away. And Chantilly shot really well, and I don't want to take away from them because they played really well to beat us. But yeah, it sucked. Obviously, like the kids wanted to get to the district championship. They wanted the banner, they wanted all that stuff. But after the next day and the next couple days, like we had 3 really, really good days of practice, and that could have gone either way. And they kept saying, the girls kept saying, like, I think there's something bigger for us. I think it's, we weren't supposed to win because
Yeah.
there's something else coming. So, and we won our first regional title in school history. So,
Yeah, they more than made it up to you, Coach. So when the Madison game, the semifinal region, that must have been an enormous game for the team because that was the game that qualified you for the state quarterfinal. And Madison had won state 4 years in a row. So even though obviously they were doing a rebuild this year, to actually knock them out and the great Kirsten Stone out must have been an amazing feeling.
yeah, didn't think about it in the moment. We were really focused on us. And, but after the fact, it's like you think about it, it's like, oh yeah, they won states 4 times in a row, after the fact. But like buzzer sounds, the first thing that goes off in your head is we're going to states. It's not that we knocked off Madison. Like, again, I have so much respect for Kirsten and everything that she's done. I tell her all the time, you're the GOAT. She's one of the greatest of all time. But yeah, it's a huge accomplishment for our program to do something like that, to beat Madison and then go and beat Oakton, 2 very historical programs, and just climb our way and claw our way to the title.
Yeah. Well, for a relatively young coach, in terms of experience, at least, beating Kirsten Stone and Freddie Priester, not only are the teams great, you beat 2 great coaches. Was that lost on you that you were able to beat 2 of the great coaches in Northern Virginia, girls basketball?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I credit a lot to our kids. Our kids do such a phenomenal job of just staying in the moment and taking care of business. Like I said, I try to do my best to get them prepared and have a game plan for them to follow. But a lot of stuff is based on what happens out there. And I don't really have control over a ton of stuff. As far as like, I let them handle a lot on the court. And then timeouts, we'll draw stuff up, and obviously we put in plays and things like that. But they buy into it. It's not like I put in a play and they're like, yeah, this sucks. But yeah, they love it. They love it. And, but yeah, it doesn't get lost on me at all. Like I appreciate everyone that's come before me, Kirsten and Fred and everybody, that's paved the way for Northern Virginia sports. And, we want to continue to be a premier area
Yeah.
for girls basketball.
And after winning the regionals, did you get a lot of love in the building? Did people give the girls a whole lot of support and say nice things about the team and the coaches?
Yeah, I mean, we've had incredible support through this run. I actually don't work in the building, but anytime I see a coach, when I'm there, or anybody, they're like, keep it going, all that stuff. And I'm sure the girls are getting a lot of love. Last night, the crowd was fantastic. We had basically our whole side of the bleachers were packed, and our student section was there. So that was awesome to see. It was really loud. And, I think that's probably the biggest crowd our girls have played in front of.
That's great. There's something going on in girls basketball, and I think some of it has to do with Caitlyn Clark. I just think there's a lot of momentum on the female side, which I find very exciting. So anyway, you beat Oakton, and now interesting enough, you go to state tournament and you play a team that's very close to you. You play a team Gainesville, which is probably 15, 20 minutes from Centreville High.
Yeah, probably about that.
So was Gainesville a familiar opponent to you? Did you know that?
So we've the last 2 years we've either scrimmaged or played them. We played them in fall league, so our kids know of them. But yeah, we hadn't played them this year. We wanted to scrimmage, but that just didn't happen. So yeah, a little familiar for us. But yeah, we didn't have any real, again, we had a day, 2 days to prepare.
Yeah. Well, we talked a little bit about the game when we first started talking. So this was at Gainesville, I believe, right, Coach?
It was at Centreville.
Oh, it's at Centreville. Okay, that's right. I saw the pictures of your crowd. I know the game obviously went pretty well for you. Did the girls have nerves the first time at this point in the competition at state? Did they have nerves they had to get rid of? And talk a little bit more about the game.
Yeah, so I definitely think we were a little nervous. Nova Hoops was there. He wrote an article, and that was my quote. Like going into halftime, I was like, we just need to stay steady. Like we got our feet wet. We kind of understand what they're doing a little bit, and now we just have to kind of settle in. And the third quarter we came out on fire. I think we scored 11 points in under 3 minutes, and we scored 26 total points in that third quarter, which is probably our season high for a quarter. And they just attacked and attacked, and it felt like every time down the floor we scored, and every 3 times down the floor Gainesville had scored. And I don't know if that's accurate or not, but that's kind of how I felt. And it was a great atmosphere for girls basketball. And our kids just they came out and they wanted it.
Yeah, that's great. I think Sophia Carnes had 17 sophomore, and then you mentioned Janiyah Marion had 12. Did I get this right? So anyway, you win the game, and so the prize that you draw is Manchester. And now I've seen Manchester play. I believe their post player Tia Wolfuck is an amazing player. She may have signed with Georgia.
Mia.
I'm sorry, Mia. I call her Tia.
That's okay. Yeah.
But her father is one of my heroes. His name is Pete Wolfuck. He played at Jefferson Huguenot with in 1984. My senior year, they won the state championship, and they had a great career at the University of Richmond. I think he beat Auburn and Charles Barkley while he was there in the tournament. Wolfuck did. But anyway, I know they have some great knockdown shooters that were freshmen and sophomores last year that shoot from far outside. So it's a considerable task, but you're still alive. So what's your frame of mind preparing for such a tough opponent?
Yeah, obviously Manchester is phenomenal. Mia is a double machine, and she's going to be a problem for us. But I tell our kids all the time, like, I'm taking you guys all day, every day. Like it's just, and obviously that's biased. Like no coach is going to be like, I'm going to pick the other team. But we have our hands full. They're probably one of the most talented teams that we played all year. But we're in a good little stretch, and I have a lot of confidence in our group to kind of figure things out as we go. Obviously there'll probably be more nerves, every game it feels like there's some nerves to it. But we're excited for the opportunity. We've never been here. They've been in the state championship game, so they have some experience in it. And we have nothing to lose. We have absolutely nothing to lose. And I'm going to tell them, go out and play loose. Go out and play loose and see what happens. Roll the ball out. It's one game. It's not a series. It's not the NBA finals. So, or the WNBA finals, if we're talking girls basketball. We obviously are going to have to get some luck on our side, and we have to travel down there. So that's all new for us. But again, I'm super confident in our group, and I'm excited to see them play on Friday.
Yeah. Are you close enough to talk to Coach Stone about Manchester, since she had to play them last year?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, great. So tell us again exactly what time and place the game is. I think it's a neutral floor.
Correct. Yeah. So the game is Friday night at Cosby High School. So it's local to Richmond, Cosby High School, 7:00. Tickets will go on sale, I think midnight, Friday morning for public sale. So yeah, get your tickets, and hopefully it'll be a good game.
You think you'll be able to take a bus down with student supporters to the game, or
we are working on that as we are talking right now, actually. So yeah, hopefully we'll get a student bus coming down.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll get good Wildcat fans down there.
Yeah, the kids that have taken those trips always just rave about how much fun they had. Go down there, support your team, and so it'll mean so much to the Wildcats to have some people in the stands. Hopefully that works out for you. But anyway, you're in the state semifinals, Final Four. Amazing achievement, Coach. Very happy for you. Chris Jolly picked you. To give Chris credit, he picked you in the early in our preseason episode. He picked you guys to go all the way. So I don't know if he's mentioned that to you or if you saw the podcast, but anyway, it's sometimes difficult to fulfill those expectations. And you were able to do it with a very young team. So just congratulations. And I just wish you guys the best of luck on Friday.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. And I appreciate you having me on, talk about my kids and talk about this program. Super proud of what we've been able to accomplish. And yeah, I didn't know Chris bet on us, but we're playing with house money now. So
yeah. Well, I'm not sure if he bet, but he sure did pick you. So
yeah, I got you.
yeah. So all right, Coach Joe, again, nice to meet you. Hopefully you'll come and join us again sometime and talk some more basketball.
Yeah, sure. Love to be on anytime.
Oh, that's great. I appreciate it. All right, Coach, have a good day and good luck to you.
All right, you too. Thank you.
All right.